Okay. So it feels so weird to introduce. I'm Spencer.
I'm Celine.
I'm Nithya.
Okay, and then today
Today we're here to talk about
today we're going to talk about relationships and community health in the modern landscape. But mainly just relationships and community health in our lives. Okay, so the first thing that I have is, so I'm gonna just say a statement, and then I kind of want you guys to not respond immediately, but notice the ideas and thoughts that come up for a minute, and then afterwards we'll share.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna sit on the ground too.
Oh, you know what? If you're sitting on the ground, I'll sit on the ground because I don't want to be left out.
Super fair.
And I'm highly susceptible to peer pressure.
Do you want this?
Nice.
Me too.
So this is kind of going to be a little bit of
Charlie's actually the star of this. He
he's
just doesn't know it
a
yet.
wild animal.
Yeah, he just bites.
Sorry.
Charlie, get a new thing.
He has other things. He also
Eat.
he doesn't do much else actually. Yeah, that is his thing.
His
Sleeps.
Okay, so
Okay.
it's going to be I'm kind of bringing some meditative influences to this podcast, because meditation for me is a lot about noticing what comes up.
Mm-hmm.
So so I'll just say the statement, and then let's give it at least 30 seconds to a minute, and then I'll ask you to share.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the thoughts that arise in response to my more rewarding relational experiences? So that's my more rewarding relational experiences. Okay, Celine, can you go first?
Oh, sure.
Or Sharon?
Oh, jeez. I don't know. What am I supposed to share? Just
Well, I can go first, actually.
Yeah, okay. Because
Also, okay, so a couple words that just came up for me were history, comfort, shared interests, conversation, physical affection comes up for me, fun, and then I also thought about, this is a thought that I've been thinking, just in preparation of this interview podcast, I like when my relationships aren't just we do things super intentionally every single time. I like it when we do things together very intentionally, and then we also just exist together in the in-between. And then we also do things together again.
Is it every time that he bites? Well, he really is a hunter.
he just likes to give hugs.
sorry about your sweater.
Oh, that's okay. Are you kidding?
Okay.
Anyone can be hugged by this guy, right? Yeah. He was doing the same thing to her sweater earlier anyway.
Yeah.
All our sweaters are just gonna. I love the sweater, by the way.
Thank you. Ingrid gave it to me, and it was Justin's.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a traveling sweater.
Yeah, truly. It's just so
It fits
comfy.
you so well.
I
Sure.
know. It's genius. Yeah. I can go next. Fun also came to mind. Are you
Okay,
ready?
that's enough.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah. Once it's enough, just push them away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's never enough.
Okay, fun.
Laughter.
Mm-hmm.
I like a jovial energy. Like, I don't like dead air. And I feel like I can sense when it's dead air. Or at least dead air is easier to sense in a group setting. Like, one-on-one, it's like, whatever, it's just silence. But then in a group setting, it's like a stagnation of energy. Like, there's a difference to me. I also like being able to share all my thoughts completely unfiltered.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like having someone being a good listener and then also being a good, like, sounding board. And I have to feel comfortable enough to actually share my thoughts, like, as they arise. I know when I'm in a flow of, like, sharing. And I feel that with specific people. So that's always nice. And I want them to know me and I want me to know them. Or at least, like, in the ways that we can get to know each other. Like, I think all my friends have, like, a vague idea of who I am so they can, like, recognize my patterns. And then, like, be like, yeah, but you're always doing this, blah, blah, blah. Like, it helps to have, like, an outside perspective.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I like my best relational experiences are also, like, open doors. Like, I can just hit them up whenever.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I know that I feel safe.
Yeah.
Okay, love.
Is it me now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I, second a lot of what's already been said. Like, when you said
Ow!
You're such a freak, Charlie.
No, no more.
Come here. Here. Come to me.
Stop.
I've never seen a cat like this, bro. Sincerely.
He's going crazy right now.
I think
It's all on
Are you
camera.
overstimulated? Do you need to go away for a bit?
He needs more stimulation?
Nah, I think he needs
He needs a cat that he can bully.
I'm just gonna put him away.
No! Why'd you... Spencer's disciplining him.
It's just gonna come back, but that's just like my signal that he needs to stop.
Wow. Good signal.
Yeah.
Just taking him somewhere and dropping him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah. Spencer's like, you need to take a walk.
Okay.
Yeah, so what you said about comfort, that was definitely the first thing that appeared in my mind. Like, listening is very important to me. 'Cause, like, sometimes I hang out with people and I don't even care that, like, I'm not deciding what we're doing. It's like, it could totally be up to the other person, whatever we're doing at that moment. But, like, as long as I feel listened to, like, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just like, oh, cool, we're just gonna, like, I'm happy to vibe doing almost anything. And I think what you said about how, like, having people know you and know your patterns and, I've had friends who are able to call me out when I'm sinking into certain patterns and they're just like, whoa, this doesn't sound like you. But I also appreciate that I've had several friendships where, like, it's spanned a certain length of time to the point where, like, we start changing as people. And I've had some friendships where it's like we're able to let go a little bit, just like be able to grow in different directions. But it's also like I have friends who celebrate the person that I am becoming and who I'm, and like when I want to change something about my life, they're supportive of that, and so they're like, you know, when I start a new project, when I start looking into a new interest, they're always excited and happy for me because they're just like, yeah, go chase your joy. So I like that level of that, I guess, the support and the openness, like what you said. It's like they're not only are they open to be contacted and like, you know, to stay in touch, but also it's an openness of allowing you to explore who you are and who you want to be, rather than staying as a version of you that they're most comfortable with.
Amen. Agreed. Okay. Yeah, that's as good as I expected it could have gone.
Should we talk about the modern landscape now?
Well, we're gonna work our
Lord.
ways to that. Like,
Gonna have to take off the sweater for that.
wait, let me get my
I need to get some napkins.
For what?
My nose is running.
Oh no, you okay?
Oh yeah.
Charlie, come here. Charlie.
No, don't rile him up again.
Yeah.
That's
was-
a good distance.
He was my stimulation.
You're,
Okay, fine. You
you're
can.
doing great,
Yeah.
kid.
No, it's okay. I respect.
God, he's
I respect the lack of biting.
He's so orange.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's such a tabby.
I love how orange he is. My cat's orange and white. Hang on, let me see if I have a good picture of him.
He literally blends into
Yeah,
the
so
bamboo
he's like
floor
this.
perfectly.
Everyone's cat is their home screen.
Yeah.
Except
it's-
mine.
It's the correct choice.
Hmm.
Who's your home screen?
I don't think he's mine anymore either.
It's like landscape.
Yeah. That's correct too.
Well, mine's just black now.
Duh.
Um,
You are different.
It's my boy.
the baby.
No, he's very cute. Oh, he's so cute.
He's just a little guy.
Yeah, he's just a little guy.
Actually, he's
Except
like,
for Charlie, he's a freak.
yeah. Also, he's not a little boy. He's 15 pounds. He's a big boy.
Oh yeah.
Charlie's 12.5 pounds.
Dang.
But he just looks strong.
He looks lean. Yeah.
Mhm.
He looks like you, honestly. He's like tall and skinny.
Whoa.
I do feel like I like really relate to him in character as well.
Yeah.
Like,
The biting.
The fighting. Must munch.
like I have like.
Wait, you should move that
aggressive-
chair.
Oh. Yeah. I don't think it was. It was
I want something to lean on.
We're like slowly pushing this chair backwards.
it's okay. It'll hit the glass soon, and then you can just full weight. No, you can let it hit the glass.
Okay,
Is that okay? Alright, as long
Yeah.
as you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Alright. What's next?
Okay, so we'll do the same thing, but this time the statement is my true community, or just my community. And what's like what comes up.
I was worried you were gonna be like my least rewarding friendships,
Oh.
and I was gonna
That could be
like,
that could be tea.
I was like, oh my god, we're gonna roast some people today.
No, like
you wanna do that?
that's tea. Yeah.
Let's do that.
Oh no.
Well, you said you were worried about that.
And we should always do the things you worry about.
I kind of like that. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my god. Alright, because I feel like this could be like an hour-long tangent.
Okay, that's a perfect podcast.
Let's. I want to keep. Oh, he just knocked the pen down. That's his playpen.
Okay.
He has a play.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Literally,
He just
My
leave it
cat's-
there so you can knock it down.
Yeah.
My cats used to play with pencils. Like you would just, like every time we dropped a pencil, they were like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, he likes straws.
Straws
and-
are so
straws are
good.
so good, right? Like
Yeah.
he loves straws. Like. Okay. Anyways, my lease. Can we like? I need like a couple. I just need like a minute to like, really see what comes up.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at myself.
You look great, sweetie.
Oh, it's not in focus.
You're over here.
Oh, so true. I cut my bangs yesterday. Again.
Nice.
Hmm.
You know how like podcasters have like couches that they're sitting on and
Yeah.
their little mics? I feel like that is like a flow of podcasting.
I think
Yeah.
it's the goal for like pristine audio.
I kind of want to get there one day.
With your podcasting?
Like, it would be nice to have like a legit mic that's like right here with like the filter.
Yeah, they have those little ball mics.
Yeah.
I remember in high school I had a teacher who she did a little podcast about knitting and kind of like homesteading. And so one day she ran the knitting club, and so one day she decided to record a podcast with the knitting club, and she just brought this little ball thing, and it just sat on the table in front of us, and we were just like, yeah.
So cute.
It was so cute.
That would be perfect for us right now. Like,
Do you have curry?
No. I'm gonna make more food today though, but I have nothing prepared.
Maybe I should order food from the Great Wazoo.
Oh my god, I'm gonna get Great Wazoo.
Yeah, I want to order in.
No, I want to go. I don't want to pay money for delivery. I feel like that's dumb.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Okay, done.
I'll drive. I can drive.
Okay. I work at 4.
Okay.
I work at 2.
Oh!
I have-
Library?
Yep.
That's so nice.
All right. Do we want to do reverse order this time?
Oh boy, are we ready for some tea? No specifics.
Only specific.
Only specific. Like, I don't want to be that person who.
No, you can't.
I don't want to be like, oh yeah, it's the opposite of everything that I just said, but it's like, that's kind of a thing. I think what mattered in the least rewarding friendships was that, like, I didn't feel respected as a person. I think a lot of it came down to the fact that, like, you know, in the moment, I would get along with these people, and then it just felt like they didn't, they had no interest in who I was. Either they had no interest in who I was, and so they never asked me questions about, like, what I'm interested in, what I want to do, who I am, you know, or they just had no respect for how I wanted to spend my time. So either it was like our friendship only existed on their terms, where like they could hit me up whenever, right? And I would always answer. But whenever I tried to do the same, like either they just wouldn't respond for hours, or you know, like anytime we did talk, it was always what they wanted to talk about.
The double standard.
Yeah. And so like I could tell that, you know, you can tell when someone's listening to you and when someone's not listening to you. And I could always tell that, like, when I was talking, they were kind of listening in that way where they were just waiting until I was done talking so that they could talk about what they wanted to talk about, instead of like actively listening and then like following up on something that I said. You know, it was just like, okay, you said your piece, now you're done. Now I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. And then I would just be like, did we even have a conversation? Do you even care what I had to say? Yeah, and the one toxic codependent friendship that I had, it felt like I existed to serve or to like manage that person's emotions. So it's like everything that I did was not about me, it was about them. And so like obviously when we got along it was great. It felt like we were on the same wavelength, we were just like, we got along so well, we were so in sync. When it went wrong, it was like suddenly on me to fix everything, because it was like they felt so like betrayed about what I had done. And like, granted, I am a human being, I make mistakes, but like the amount of times I had to apologize for things that were not malicious, it was like every choice that I made, it was not with the intention of hurting people, you know, but like sometimes that happens. Sometimes you just make a mistake, you don't know enough information at the time, you're a different person, you like have some growing up to do, so you make mistakes. But like every time, it was like every mistake was cataloged, and every time it was like, you should have known better, and we're going to go through this like now that you're like, I'm going to make you apologize, and this is for your own good, so that you are better in the future. And at a certain point, I was like,
That's fucked.
yeah, I was like, hang on, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, literally.
Like, I don't think you get to decide who I am, better or worse, in the future.
Right.
So that was one friendship that I really had to cut off because it's been like a year now. This person just rejoined the group chat, and I'm like, why are you here?
Damn.
So, like, I just, like, this past week and a half, it's just been me, like, reprocessing all of this. So when Spencer, like, brought up, like, hey, we're gonna talk about friendship, I'm like, oh boy. Been reflecting on that a lot today.
It's like the best thing to talk about.
Yeah, so it was, like, I don't know, I think, like, I guess I grew up pretty loved, so I had a standard for how I should be treated as a person. And, you know, like, I've gone through several versions of friendships with many different people, and, like, I'm starting to catalog, like, how I want to be treated, how I don't want to be treated, and, yeah. That's all I got.
That's a lot.
Yeah, okay, so that's, like, my least rewarding friendships or relationships.
Yeah.
I like to see the
contrast.
contrast. Yeah, I mean, I can't really see it until I analyze, but it's here.
Yeah.
Also, writing is out. I didn't even ask if it's okay.
Well, we're literally being recorded.
That's true.
Too. I mean,
Like, this is not for me to, like, this is just for me to process.
No, yeah,
in the moment.
Yeah.
Like,
I totally respect it. Do it.
You're not allowed.
Yeah, how dare you?
What the fuck? God.
why did you stop me earlier then?
You brought attention to it. I have so many little things I can nitpick. Currently it's like friends that are really understimulating. Like, I feel like I'm a very playful person, and I like people who are also playful.
Mm-hmm.
Or like there's like a back and forth. But I feel like with a couple of my friends now, I feel like, not even a couple, whatever. With some of my people in my life now, I feel like I have to put in the work to stimulate myself. Like, I have to entertain myself when I'm with them.
Mm-hmm.
And not that people are entertainment, right?
Mhm.
Like, it's not that people need to serve me in that regard, but it's like, there's an ease when it's like a natural kind of back and forth, and it's like bouncy and it's fun. And when it's not that way, consistently, I guess I'm just bored. And I don't know, like, I feel like I'm nowadays getting bored really quickly. So I've just been spending more time with myself. But I'm like always like wondering if that's just a natural outcome of spending a lot of time with people. Like, obviously it can't always be entertaining. Versus like, am I just someone who needs stimulation like all the time? Or even when I don't need stimulation, I need like comfortable energy to sit in. And like, even when I'm like out with like a group of people, like I'm very like, I want to be having fun. Like, I'm very like, I'm so high energy. And I feel like it's like a monster that I have to feed sometimes. Cause like, I just want to play all the time. But not all the time. But like, when I am high energy, I want to play. Yeah, and then in more of the veins of your story, like, I feel like codependency in general just like leads to like really toxic like dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you kind of get stuck in the expectations of someone else, or you get stuck in like the headspace of someone else. Like,
Yeah.
you're really not like your own person when you're codependent with like even a friend. And then like, it's like you almost have to like check in with this person to it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like you can also get really codependent with a therapist if I think about it. Like, when you're like, I always have to check in with my therapist to see if it's okay, like blah blah blah, like I can't process my emotions without talking to my therapist or something like that. Like, that can totally happen with a friend.
I think it's slightly different with a therapist because there's a monetary exchange there. and,
Yeah.
Like, it depends, like, where you are in your therapy journey. Like, there are some people who genuinely, like, they have so much trouble making their own decisions
Right.
that, like, it is understandable that they're, like, you know, trying to check in with someone who they trust.
Mm-hmm.
but you're so right. Like there can be a level, and it's like up to the therapist also to be like, you can make your own decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think my friend was telling me, she was like, yeah, I actually really like not having a therapist right now. And then I was thinking about it and I was like, you know what, like same, like it's nice to have like autonomy in the flow of my emotions. Not that she was taking away my autonomy, but it's like, I didn't need someone to check in with. Like I didn't need to like relay all my emotions to someone like regularly, like because it was scheduled. I think it just makes a difference in my, like, I don't know. Something to think about.
I was, Beef. Did you start watching Beef?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, you started watching Beef.
Yeah, I have to
TV,
finish
man.
it.
The director of the show, or the writer of the show and director, he was in therapy. This is him talking about it in a podcast, and he was like, it worked best for me when I like went to therapy for a bit and then stopped going for a bit and then went back, because like he needed like the phase to just like practice without
Yeah, totally.
like just to practice in the
Totally.
real world.
And
So
like,
that makes sense.
and what my therapist says like still resonates with me, because like I was doing therapy for like a year basically, and then she would tell me things like consistently, and then it finally clicked, and like I can see what she's saying in my daily life that I do, like it just needs to click in a long term way. But like yeah, I remember like I would get into like so many codependency type friendships just because I think I felt really lonely, like in general in life, and it felt easier to just like have somebody.
One person.
Yeah,
It's like a
literally.
control thing.
Yeah, totally a
Same, I
control
have a
thing.
track record of that.
I mean,
Same. That's why we literally became friends. Like,
But I'm like emerging from it slowly.
Same.
I definitely feel it. But like, okay, do you have more? I have a bunch.
no,
of
we
thoughts.
could just talk.
Okay, because like,
I also have a question for you. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like,
No, wait. Say your question.
say your question first, because mine is a little bit of a
tangent.
deviation.
Okay, yeah. I'm just curious. Like, what are you concerned about if you are understimulated? Like, what are you? Not like what are you trying to avoid? Like I'm trying to find the tea. It's just like what will happen if you're understimulated?
Like honestly, nothing except like I'm just gonna leave.
Oh.
Like nothing besides like, oh, now I can just be alone. It's so weird. Like I'm really trying.
Oh, so like if the situation is not rewarding for me, I will go and find a more rewarding situation.
Well, it's not even find a more rewarding situation. It's like, well, now I haven't, like, now I feel good enough to just spend time alone, because like, I have trouble with alone time, and, like, I think the overstimulation, or my need for a lot of stimulation, like, works with that, but, like, if I feel like I'm being understimulated in a social setting, it gives me, like, more free will to just go be alone, which I actually really enjoy. So, like, I guess it's not, like, even, like, a net loss, it's just, like, it's, like, something different.
Okay.
It's not like, it's so funny because it's not like the end of the world that I'm like understimulated, but sometimes I'm like, oh, like.
No, I mean like you're allowed to be bored.
Yeah.
You know, it's like something's boring. You're just like, I'm not feeling this vibe. So.
Yeah.
But like, I guess staying on this vein, like,
Low vein.
okay, so one time you came over,
Yeah.
and like I wasn't really like engaging you.
Yeah.
And then you were like, I'm gonna leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was confused, it's like because when I was talking about rewarding relationships, I mentioned comfort and space
Yeah.
that isn't intentional,
Yeah.
but still together.
Yeah.
So like, does that have any value? Because you didn't mention that when you gave your
Comfort. Yeah.
like, response. Do you like, is that something on your radar that you want? Like,
I think I'm learning more and more that I feel out of control sometimes. Maybe it's a control thing. I don't know. Like, there's like the weird pressure when I know that I can leave, and then it's like, well, when? So then I just leave, so I don't have to figure out the when. Does that make any sense?
no, for sure. I get like well, I don't know if I'm experiencing the same thing as you, but like, it almost sounds like you don't want to experience the discomfort of like silence with other people if you can just be alone with yourself, which is fully comfortable.
Yeah. But it's like, sometimes it's not that it feels uncomfortable, it's just that I would prefer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like,
That's-
just,
yeah.
It's not, but like sometimes, yes, like I've always had trouble. I'm like always like, I'm a talker, so like I like filling space, but I feel more comfortable with myself now, so I don't feel the need to do that as much.
Hmm.
That's
But-
really nice.
Yeah, thank you. but like I've told you this so many times, but like I've been working on developing a relationship with myself. And so like whenever I get that urge where I'm like, I want to go, like I'll just go. And it's really nothing besides like, I'm out.
That's like, no, but that's such a really good skill to
I think
have.
it's actually
'cause
very healthy.
yeah, I've had some situations where I was like, I'm not feeling this anymore, but I'm gonna stay because the awkwardness of explaining why I want to leave is more than just staying here. And then like in the end, I would have. Usually, I'm just like, no, I should have left earlier.
Yeah.
And like one time, I was in a situation with a friend, and both of us were just sitting there, really uncomfortable because like I was her ride. And then as soon as we left, we both turned to each other and we were like, oh my god, we should have left so much sooner. You know, it's like turns out we were both super uncomfortable there, but we just didn't have the space to talk about it. As soon as we got into my car, we were like, that sucked.
Yeah.
So like I think being able to recognize that feeling and act on it is really important and like really good for yourself.
It's like I can go back to myself when I want to just exist, and then I want to go to people when I want to interact and engage. And I think that's like the two spheres that I'm existing in right now. And like, yeah, I guess.
Oh yeah.
I guess I'm not, like it's so funny like when people would point out things that I do or like my behavior patterns, my instinct was always like, oh my god, I'm doing something wrong, or like, oh my god, this isn't the right way to approach things. And then my therapist would tell me all the time, she'd be like, you're not doing anything wrong, it's just who you are. So like a lot of like figuring out relationships with people is like figuring out like what you want and like who you are and like knowing that it's not inherently wrong, it's just like more self-information.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully what I said didn't come off as
No.
wrong.
No.
Okay, good.
No, that was just
like
like
I was just like speaking on the fly.
Yeah,
But I do
yeah.
have like a bad habit of constantly like trying to fix issues instead of expanding on what's already good.
Yeah.
Which I'm working on.
No, and like we're still such a new friendship, even though it's been like a year or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, how'd you guys meet?
Thanksgiving
Yeah, we
party.
met at a friend's Thanksgiving party.
But then our relationship was like digital for like a year.
for like the whole time.
Because right as it was about to be physical, she left for India for a full year.
Yeah.
So really, we became friends like in person a couple months ago.
Literally when I got back in February.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So
Welcome back.
we're also in your relationship too.
Yeah, I met you last
In the
last September or October, right?
Oh yeah, because we played.
We played volleyball together.
Oh.
It was when I came back from the retreat, basically.
Yeah.
That's when I started hanging out because I hung out with Titus and then he looped you in.
No, you were hanging out with Titus. Titus knew Alan, I think, and then Alan looped me in from Power Zone.
Yes.
So Alan literally texted me so randomly, and he was just like, "I have this group of really cool, good volleyball players. Do you want to join our team?" And I was like, I don't know if I want to meet new people. And then I met you all, and I was like, yo, this group is so cool.
Right, it's fun.
It's so cool. I still love our group chat, even though I don't show up to 90% of the things that they try to organize. I'm just I love being here though.
That's sweet.
Yeah, actually, I forgot to sign up for a couple Power Zone events, and there's low-key some drama there, so I'm actually probably gonna do some grass in a few weeks.
Yes. Well, it's gonna rain next week, but it maybe not. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
For sure. And then we have Chen Dynasty, which is
I'm
gonna
so
be a lot
excited.
of fun.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
It's a volleyball league that we both joined again.
Yeah.
Chen Dynasty.
Chen Dynasty, because 90% of the people, so it's 7 people, and I think 5 of them have the last name Chen.
Oh,
And
that's
it's just me and
funny.
Spencer.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
But my mom's last name is Tan, but in her region of China, that's basically Chen.
Okay.
So I'm half Chen.
I'm
Cool.
fully not Chen.
He's fully
I'm
not
just
Chen.
Wong. It's fine.
He's just Spencer.
He's just Spencer.
I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be because Mike. I love Mike. I actually I can't say this on camera. Never mind.
I'm conscious that you're recording.
I just realized. Okay.
Spencer's in love with Mike.
I think he's really cool. I think
He's so
really
cool. I love.
really like Mike.
I love playing with Alan. He's like my volleyball dad.
I also like Alan.
Yeah.
Vanya's really cool too. You should come watch and just like hang out with us.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
We'll just start playing volleyball. That's an option. as well.
I feel like I'd be really bad at it.
Guess or something.
Yeah, you gotta start somewhere. It's okay.
Yeah, you're
We can
right.
just do badminton.
Yeah. Field day.
Oh my god.
My foot is so sleepy.
You want this?
No, it's just gotta write it out. Thank you.
All right, give us the tea, Spencer. What are your
Oh, yeah,
most
okay.
rewarding friendships?
Oh, so I'll just do mine and then I'll do what I was gonna say.
I remember you had a point, and then
Yeah,
like we
there's
just went on. A
We don't
tangent.
have to revisit it if it doesn't feel right, but I'll.
No, but I want to hear what you wanted to say.
Me
what came up
too.
for me was a lot of what came up with you.
Mhm.
A lot of overlap. I mean, we know this because we already
Yeah.
talked about it. Oh no, this is the thing that I wanted to bring up, which is I feel like whenever I have conflict with other people, I tend to like feel very empowered to like deal with it on my own,
Mm-hmm.
which is where my avoidance comes from. Like if someone like upsets me and I don't really like it, like in the past I would just be like, oh, I have the power, I just don't hang out with this person. Mouse.
Oh, it's like a yoga mouse. I was like, is it a bell?
Little yogi mouse.
Sorry, I'm so.
You're good?
Okay.
Simulation.
I'm still listening.
No, just like
Promise.
play with whatever.
I will.
Like, yeah, so I feel like I rarely am like, this person is like bad, even though I know, because I think everybody like has flaws.
Mhm.
And like, what I do is I tend to avoid the flaws. I'm just like, I'll try to hang out with them like in the context that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
But then lately, like I feel like a couple years ago I was like, oh, then I don't really see the full person. Like I want to have some relationships in my life where like
Totally.
I am also a witness and participant in their like growth areas. And I still don't really know exactly how I'm like gonna do that, because like that opened up another door, which is like, oh, what parts of, because like then I realized like I had a lot of internal discomfort like seeing and being with other people when they did things that made me feel uncomfortable, and that came from like my own inability to like speak up for myself and advocate. So then I had to like do like self-therapy and like figure out like why I was so uncomfortable with like being like, hey, like this bothers me
Mm-hmm.
when you do this for people who I know would receive it well,
Mm-hmm.
where I have like pretty confident that they would. But yeah, so for me, like I still to this day I feel like I still lean towards like internalize or like taking it on myself to like manage discomfort in relationships. Like but then I don't know if I want to continue being like that, because I feel like that prevents me from the certain situations where it is good to be like, I'm trying my best, like would you mind doing this? Because I like, if you care about a relationship, like maybe you wouldn't mind like making a slight adjustment or like paying more attention to this thing that you may have no idea that I'm feeling because I don't communicate it.
Yeah, like I guess it depends, because like there are some people where you don't have to do everything together. Like, I don't know. Like I guess my brother is like, I have actually not just my brother. I have so many friends who are into Dungeons and Dragons. I personally am not. So like, as much as I love all of those friends, I could probably throw them all into a group chat and they could have a wonderful campaign together. That doesn't mean that I have to join them, you know, like you don't have to do everything with certain people. So it's totally okay that like, hey, we're only friends in the context of these 4 things that we have in common, right? And like, if you want to expand that to 5 or 6 things, like I'm willing to go on that adventure with you, but we don't have to do everything together, you know? I think that was one of the hallmarks of my codependent friendship, when I realized that I was only doing things with this one person. And like, it was starting to get really concerning that like I just wouldn't engage with any of my other friends on things that like I could have included them on. So.
But like I don't want codependent relationships, but I was just listening to a podcast that Nina sent me. I don't know if she sent it to you as well. but it was about like the atomization of our relationships.
Yeah.
And like I feel like it can, at least for me, I feel like it's gone too far. Like one, because a lot of my friends just like moved away. So part of it is just like how the modern world works right now. Like you just have an insane amount of mobility. So like I feel like when people go further away, atomization of that relationship is natural. Like you just can't do a lot of things because you're not even in physical presence of each other anymore. So you only like connect on the very specific things that you like really, really share in common. But then for me, like that feels like it, my social like ecosystem feels like less vibrant and full because like I almost have too much control. And I almost feel like people have too much control over me. They're like, I only want to see you in this setting. Like I don't want to see the like maybe like the less pleasant, like uglier parts of you, like our relationship.
Yeah.
And I feel like with family, like I have a lot of problems with my family, but almost part of the reason why I have problems with the family is because we stick together even through the difficult parts and the unpleasant parts, and like that creates like a level of reliability that I don't have in my friendships. Because it's like, yeah, like I don't like my certain things my dad does like at a very deep level, but I also know that like we've gone through it and we'll still be there for each other. And like, that level of trust is like something I feel like I could be extended to more people. From my perspective, like I would like to have more people in my life who like are that close, like closer than just we play volleyball together.
I mean, yeah, I guess you have to find like someone you vibe with, and B, someone who's willing to put in that level of commitment. And like sometimes, and you have to find someone who's really honest about that, right? Because like it's really nice to be like, hey, do you want to be friends that way, right? And like, you know, someone who's not quite as honest is going to be like, oh yeah, that would be so nice, and then they never show up. And so like you have to find someone who's like very clear on who they are and what they want to commit to, and then be like honest about how much they can show up for you, because like you have to really take stock of like where your life is and how much space you can give. Because like if you like I'm a pretty forgiving person, and I feel like there have been times where I'm like, okay, I cut off some friendships. Do I still want to let that person back into my life? And emotionally, I can think of reasons why, but like logically now, like when I look at where my life is, I don't have space for them anymore. And that's just something that I have to be honest about. So when that person showed up in the group chat again, I was like, what the fuck? And like yeah, this is probably an opportunity that I could take advantage of, where I'm like, okay, well, listen, like we've grown up a year, maybe things are different, maybe I could reach out to them, maybe I can try and salvage something that we had. But in actuality, I'm sitting there thinking like, I don't have space for you anymore. I've grown outside of you. And so like I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, because they want to keep everyone together as long as possible, you know? And so like when you try to find someone that you want to commit to, and this comes with like any kind of relationship, friendship, otherwise, like you have to be really honest with yourself. Do I have room for this person? What can I give to this person? What can they give to me? And like,
The thing is like, so, I don't know if I even know exactly how much room I have in my life. Like it's, like I would love to like I would love to be honest about it, but like I don't even, so it's hard for me to be honest about it.
So you have to like try things, you know? And
I feel like those questions come up when the friendship's getting deeper.
Yeah.
But then you guys kind of answer that question together.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just have to try, and like you have to. It's not just about trusting them to like not hurt you, obviously, but it's also you have to trust yourself in that like you will be able to heal. You know, you like you said, you have your family to rely on in some respects, and you can understand that like at like worst case scenario, they will take care of me in enough ways that I can also take care of myself in other ways, you know? Like when some of my friendships fell apart last year, it was really helpful that like I had my parents, I had my cat, like I had other people that I could reach out to and rely on and strengthen those relationships instead of whatever toxic bullshit that I had gotten myself into. So, and like you also have to practice forgiveness, and not just for other people but also for yourself.
Period. Okay, wait, I have a follow-up question that I prepared before.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry if I'm like, I don't know.
No, bro, you're good.
you literally are a spigot of wisdom.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so like, I feel like Nithya was like, when relationships get deeper, like these questions kind of naturally unfold, and you like figure it out organically over time. And I totally agree with that, but then, like the thing that I've been struggling with in terms of naturally letting a relationship naturally unfold is like the issue with mobility, global mobility, like geographic mobility. Like I developed I had developed friendships that I could see developing for a long time in high school, and they continued virtually, but like I very much noticed like how different the nature of our relationship was when it like became fully digital. Like with my friend Mickey, that's just one that comes up to mind. She's in the Netherlands right now. Like we haven't really been together, like lived our lives like parallel geographically since high school.
Is geographic proximity something that's important to you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah. Because well, that's a separate thing. But so then I did the same thing in college, and then now I'm back here. Like, it's like, is that a concern, or maybe even a wound that you guys think about or nurse, like moving away from people that you were getting close to, and like how does that affect your relationship? Because it's definitely a pain for me. I'm like, oh, like it's a huge pain for me. Like I'm still learning how to manage it. I don't really know exactly.
So I went to college in Michigan, which means, and Michigan's actually, like this is one of the many problems with it as a university, is that it's supposed to be the state university, right? So a lot of my classmates are from Michigan, which is great. But over the past few years, Michigan has also been courting a lot of out-of-state students, because out-of-state students pay out-of-state tuition, which is higher than in-state. So I have a lot of friends from Michigan who are also, like we all went to the University of Michigan, but like I have several friends who are from California. I have a bunch of people were like from New Jersey, like me, so that was interesting too. And so when we all left college, and we all left college because of the pandemic, like immediately our friend group kind of atomized. And part of the reason, I genuinely credit the pandemic for like forcing us to stay in touch as fiercely as we did, because like we were all supposed to have a senior year together, and suddenly that was cut 3 months short. And so we were all like so desperate to stay in touch together. Like we immediately threw all of our resources into, like, we had a Skype group, we had a Discord channel or Discord server, we have this one Facebook Messenger group that's like 40 people in it. So like I think like for a while a lot of my friendships have been virtual, and in a way like there are some pros and cons to this. Obviously I can't go out and see a movie with them. Like, we can't spend time, like, eating meals together and chatting just simply. But, like, for the first year and a half of the pandemic, we would find excuses to come together. Like, we would still do movie nights on the Discord server. I'm planning another movie night next week with one of my friends there. We do little events, like, we would have, they're doing gaming nights still on the Discord server. Like, it's kind of about finding a group of people that will insist on staying in touch with each other. And like currently my bestie Haley, I visited her in Seattle a few weeks ago. I met her in Michigan, and we honestly knew each other for about 6 months. and like hung out a handful of times there. And then the pandemic happened, and then we were just like, well, shit, you know, like, what are we supposed to do? So we started, like, all of our classes were virtual, and we're like, you know what, we're both struggling to pay attention to these fucking classes because they're like, you know, all the work is such bullshit. So we're gonna do Skype calls where we do homework together to keep each other accountable. And then we just kept doing the Skype calls. And so, in a way, like, the reason that I don't need therapy right now is because Haley has a master's in clinical psych. And so, like, she practices her therapy skills on me. I give her free material to work with. And, like, we also just, we keep making time for each other, even though we're not in the same space. So our friendship has existed virtually for more time than it has existed in person. But like, when you find someone that you vibe with and you keep showing up for each other again and again and again, like, that's what makes it special. And so I think there are some benefits to having friendships that are not in person all the time. Like, I think it gives us the space to go off and do our own things. And, like, I don't know, there's some weeks where, like, Haley and I Skype each other and we're like, you know, I just talked to you 4 days ago. I have nothing to report, like, just nothing really interesting has happened. So instead, that's when we'll watch something like, well, I think we're trying to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender again together. So, like, sometimes we'll just do that, but like other times I have some friends that like I don't call or talk to for months, and then suddenly like we get back together and we're just like, hey, this is all the stuff you missed. It's like the season recap of what my life has been about. It's like, this is what you missed on Celine. So I think there are some ways that it's beneficial because like it depends what you want out of the friendship, whether it's in-person interaction and like doing activities together, or if it's the kind of person that you want to sit down and talk to all the time. You know, it's like some of these things don't require being in the same place, and even though they're not in the same place, they can still be extremely rewarding. Like just the fact that Haley and I have shown up for each other for so many years. I met her in like 2019, so it's been like 3 or 4 years now. And like she's definitely one of my closest friends like ever. So
that's nice.
Yeah, it's about finding that person and just making sure that like you both keep showing up for each other. And also like this takes time. Mm-hmm. When I first met Haley, she complimented my Deadpool jacket, and I was just like, I just like this girl's vibe. You know, it's like it wasn't really anything special, and it was like, you know, we started doing homework together, and like that wasn't really anything special either, and like over time it just. I don't think it really became something truly special until like maybe a year ago. Mm-hmm. You know, and then I realized like, damn, we've been through a lot together. We've been through some ups and downs together. Like, I really enjoy talking to you. Like, are you my best friend? Because I think you're my best friend, but like, I don't know if I'm your best friend. And then we were both like, oh my god, yeah, we are kind of best friends now.
Aww.
Yeah, so like it was really so cute.
It emerged organically.
It emerged really organically, and I think one of the most rewarding aspects of it has just been the fact that like I'm not concerned about the future with this person.
Right.
Like I've had some friendships where like because I'm so worried like I want to know you for the rest of my life, mm-hmm. that I'm desperate to do anything to keep them in my life, and that's led some dark places. So like with her, it's just kind of like we know who we are to each other. We know that we can go off and do our own things together, and then we will always check in with each other. And like as long as this keeps working for both of us, then we're happy to keep it going. I feel like I just went on a whole ass monologue, so I'm gonna shut up now.
Oh my god, no!
Gonna drink some water.
We were listening.
Thank you.
That was
I
very
appreciate
interesting.
that.
Even if it doesn't look like I'm just like, I feel like we're kind of like, I need to like stim, you know, like I can't just be like,
Yeah, like me and him are always stretching or doing some shit.
yeah, like I need to, like I just, I think yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys the perspective because I know like I've had a lot of virtual friendships, and honestly, like some of them can be really rewarding, and some of them aren't. Like I've had some interactions with people where it's like, yeah, I watched a couple movies with you, but I don't know if I actually like talking to you.
Right.
And then you just like let that go. So
you gotta like talking to them.
yeah, like we clearly just have different perspectives on the world, and I'm not convincing you, you're not convincing me. Just go our separate ways.
Wait, Nick, do thank you for sharing. But I'm curious, like, what do you think?
Yeah, because fucking India
Well, like that and yeah,
and us.
yeah, all us too. Like, I feel like you don't talk about your loneliness that much.
I don't feel lonely.
Since
Holy
when?
shit, I have that exact same water bottle at home. Okay, it's a Pfizer one, but like, I just stared at it when I left. I was like, is that enough water? I'm just gonna bring the big one.
I like holding this and then drinking from the spout. Like I
It's so
have one that you
nice.
can suck on, but like it doesn't feel this. It doesn't feel like I'm getting enough water.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. It tastes really nice.
I'm also a
coming from
gulper.
metal,
I'm not a
right?
straw. Some people are like, I need the straw, but I'm like, I need the.
I need this
gulp.
the gulp.
Yeah. I need
Totally.
the-
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, especially during sports. Like I just need the whole wave.
Right. The
like-
straw is just so underwhelming.
The straw's not
Right.
enough. It's not enough. That's why, like, I used to have all these volleyball, like, sports bottles. I took the straws out of every single one of them. Like, I couldn't do it.
So you don't feel lonely? Since when? Because I know you did feel lonely at one point,
Totally.
and it must come back here and there.
Totally.
Oh, okay.
Loneliness is gonna be a constant.
Yeah,
I feel like,
it's-
for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it's kind of like hunger. I feel like it's not
Yeah.
really. But I don't want to be like starved, like on the brink of death
Yeah.
again. Like,
I have a lot of thoughts all the time. Not thoughts.
not thoughts again.
always, freaking always thoughts. So I just got back from India, not just, but like a couple months ago. And I like went through this whole drama. Like it was like a cataclysmic event
Ooh.
where I lost like my friend group basically.
Oh.
And I had this one friend in the friend group that I was super fucking close with. Like we spent all our time together and like we had a really good momentum, but during the end, like I think in the beginning he had a crush on me. So like he really gave me all his attention, which I
Yeah.
loved. And like he was really smart and like observational and really funny. So like I loved when his attention was on me. Cause he would notice things about, like he was the one that would tell me like, you're just like a child. Like the way you're just like a child that like wants to figure out the world, like blah blah. He would just tell me these things and I was like, fuck, like I love when you like tell me these things.
Oh my god, I just had an epiphany.
What?
He was giving you enthusiastic attention,
Yes.
which is something you may have been missing.
Yes.
Like-
I love enthusiastic attention. And that's how I fell in love with him, like as a person. Like
Me too, bro. I love enthusiastic
yeah,
attention. It's
like
so nice.
he was like, you need a lot. He was the one who was like, you need a lot of stimulation. Like, it was just so easy for me to like open up to him and like just be myself with him, because he just like really liked me too.
Yeah. When people choose you without you having to ask them,
Yeah.
it's a magical feeling.
Yeah, I fucking loved it. And I loved that it was him because he was so smart. Like, I just loved him so much. And then when the friend group fell apart, I kind of left. Like, I left the campus. I was staying on a campus. And I was just traveling around, like, because I just couldn't deal with that emotional, like, backlash. I was just, like, really depressed whenever I went back. And then me and him kind of lost our momentum. Like, entirely. And, like, every time I would go back, like, first of all, like, I couldn't be myself around him because I was just so sad. And, like, I was sad because, like, he wasn't giving me that same type of attention. And I was like, I can't tell you that. Like, I miss whatever we had. Like, it just felt really, I felt really unsafe around him. And I couldn't be myself. And, like, he wasn't giving me the same type of, like, enthusiasm that he had before.
Is there a way you could fix the settings so it's not just 25 minutes?
Possibly. I never looked into it. Yeah. Oh, look at her.
You know.
It was so crazy because I think in the beginning I felt like I had control, and not in like a really like malignant way, but more in like a like that I could hit him up whenever and it was such an open door and like that was fine. And then in the end I totally lost all of that and I felt like he had more control than I did. I don't know, when you lose that momentum, it's hard to pick it back up. But I also like, okay, so I was also kind of seeing this other guy in the friend group. And he was another boy that I fell in love with romantically. And whenever him and me hung out, like, it was so easy to pick up that momentum again. Like, it was always there. And, like, there was never, like a cutting short of the relationship. Like, it was such a flow whenever I would see him again. So I think, like, it kind of made me understand like sustainability in terms of a relationship. Like if someone is really giving you their undivided attention, like that's not, I feel like that's crazy because you just kind of fall into the expectation of that. And then like when it's gone, you really grieve it. And like I feel like one, that's probably love bombing, like just in terms of like a relationship in general, because you can love bomb in friendships too. Two, like you have to like fall into a natural dynamic that makes sense. That's not one person giving so much attention and then one person like, but I also gave him attention back, so I don't fucking know. But like a sustainable dynamic where like it's an interplay and like one person isn't giving most of their energy and like another person isn't just taking it, like that plays into like, even if it's like a digital or virtual friendship, like to have that natural ebb and flow helps, at least in the long term. But yeah, like that was just a crazy thing that I like experienced and had to grieve because I totally did fall in love. Like I was like, where the fuck did you go? And I was like, oh, that whole time it was kind of just like him having a crush on me. Like it was kind of like an illusion.
It was like you kind of can't tell anymore. Was it actually because he enjoyed being your friend, or because did he just want something from you? Yeah, and like he knew that I was kind of seeing the other person too, but like he was still like my friend, so I was like confused like why that love kind of faded. But maybe it's just it's just not sustainable, you know? So yeah.
Sometimes it's just not meant to be.
Yeah, and like I like wanted to hold on, and then I was like, what am I holding on to? Like the past? Like I can't like hold on to an idea of what the relationship used to be. Like I just have to look at it for what it is right now.
I mean, maybe it's like maybe part of you is holding on to the experience of having undivided attention. Like, that's intoxicating.
Yeah, and it wasn't just undivided attention, because people do give me their undivided attention. It's just from him. Like it was fucking amazing. Like I want to be around people who give me their attention, but I love having their attention. Like it's like glorious to be like, it's like the sun is shining on you, you know? Like
it's like literally like power tripping in a sense. It's like, oh yeah, like I am very important. I mean, but it's not like
not that you're very important, it's that you're worth loving.
Like love is so specific. Like I fell in love with the specifics of him. Like I get a lot of attention regardless. But like I want to be loved by people where it feels so good to be loved by them. Cause you fucking respect the shit out of them, and you're like, I want you like for the rest of my life, because I love you. Like I love the person that you are. It's just different. Like it's like at this point in my life, I don't want any type, like I don't want attention just in general. Like I want attention from people that I value their attention from.
Yeah.
And that's
what
probably
makes you value someone's attention?
If I love their mind, like if I love the way that they are, if I love the way that they make me feel, like if I see that they're on my level, but like they can add to like the things that I already know in life.
So something you like almost admire.
Yes, and it's been a long time since I like actually admired someone. You know, and like I totally looked up to him too. Like he was such a like mentor type. Like I would come to him with all my questions, and he would like give me conclusions that I like really valued. And like I don't know, I feel like I don't feel that way about a lot of people. Like I don't admire a lot of people. It takes a lot for me to admire someone.
But do you think like everybody has something you can admire about them?
Yeah.
But like there are certain people who you like just especially admire?
Yeah.
Okay. And what makes that different?
Like, so he just, okay, this is like probably why it's significant, but like when I first started smoking weed again in India, like I was feeling anxious still, and then he just fucking talked to me when I was feeling anxious, and and he just gave me all the answers to like everything that I was confused about. Like he made me feel less anxious when I was tripping out, and then that translated to my real life, and then he changed my relationship with weed. Because he was like, you don't have to feel it. Like he was so wise, like he was full of wisdom. Like everything he said I like loved. Like he just said so many correct things.
It just felt right.
It just felt right. I feel this way about Brendan too, where like I'll like I love the things that he says. Like I kind of admire him as well. So I'm happy to have him in my life. But like the things that they say, I'm like, you're so wise. Like I really respect the shit out of it. And like I love being surprised, and like I love people who surprise me, and yeah, because usually I'm so dominant as a person in an interaction, and like sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, and it's a bad thing when I just completely take over and I like am not like again I'm like understimulated.
You get bored
or
from the control.
yeah, so like it's nice when someone just takes over me, but in like a benign, like loving, safe, like exciting way. Do you know what I mean? Because like I definitely have issues with dominance in general. Like I don't like when people dominate me, but in like a controlling way, or in like in a way that makes me feel really unsafe. But I love being dominated when someone's like
In a safe way.
yeah, I
Right.
love it.
I don't know if it's like you're being dominated because it's like they're not forcing themselves onto you.
No.
But you're like you've chosen for yourself like this is someone that I want to give my attention to.
And
Totally.
trust.
Yeah,
It's
Totally.
like you
Yeah,
finally
so-
trust someone.
Totally.
Yeah, so it's not as much being dominated as much as you have love for them that you are giving freely.
Yes. Okay, totally agree with that. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Like I very much relate, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, because like I think a lot about like power in general, just in terms of like, I need a lot to feel safe, or I used to need a lot to feel safe and comfortable, because I was always very like anxious inside, I guess, and like pretty uncomfortable with myself. But now I'm really comfortable with myself, and I don't think about it because it's just so unconscious. Oh, nice, we have time.
I'm
But-
just sorry I'm just getting hungry, but I want
Oh, I'm so hungry too.
We should go soon.
Yeah. But the interplay in relationship dynamics should not necessarily be about power. It's like you both are in your power together. But like if one person is dominant in a bad way, then that's when it gets really toxic.
Yeah.
So like you kind of need to be both benign but like powerful at the same time.
Like
Yeah.
I think I totally agree with like healthy, rewarding relationships are when you're both in your power together. But like I like relationships where it's not like we're always 50-50. It's that sometimes it's 75-25, but other times it flips.
Yeah.
That I actually like that. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I don't want to. Yeah. I like the
I
ebb
think,
and the flow.
Like that kind of goes back to something you said earlier. It's like part of the reason that Haley's friendship to me is so important is because like we're both very similar in terms of like we kind of grew up both being like very people pleasers. Like things happened to us throughout our childhoods that showed us that like if we take care of people, they will keep us in their lives. And so that was kind of our friendship survival strategy, was that if I make other people happy, then that's the same as me being happy. And it, when we became friends, it's suddenly like the two of us trying to keep each other happy, which the end result is that we take care of each other. And so like every conversation we have, it's like, at every, we would talk about what we wanted to talk about, but at the end of it, we would be like, and how are you? It's like we always ask, like, how are you doing? Because it's not, we both recognize it's not just me in this friendship. And so, like, I've known her for 4 years. We've had some situations where, like, some weeks I'm giving more, some weeks she's giving more. I, like, had some situations where, like, week after week I would come to her and be like, I have so much drama to tell you, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm going through, and she would just listen, and she would give her advice and everything. And we have other weeks where she comes to me and she's like, this is what I'm going through, and I'm like, all right, give me the tea, like we take turns, basically. I think that's the grace of having such a loving and forgiving friendship. It's like, sometimes she needs to get something off of her chest. And what's so funny about it too is that we're both so apologetic about it, and we're like, oh no, I've been talking for the entire hour and it's just about my stuff, and I'm like, no, it's okay. I love you, dude. Like, like this is okay. And so I think
Like the long termness probably helps too, because you're like, oh, I can look back at years of us like having an exchange. So right now I'm okay. with that, like, taking the
it's
backseat.
about the reciprocity, it's about the forgiveness, and it's also about recognizing that, like, eventually it's going to be my turn too, And like that's okay if it's not now, if it's next week, if it's 3 months from now, we're gonna be okay. You know, there's a level of trust there that's really comforting. And I think it helps that like she has her own relationship with her girlfriend. Like they're I think it's just always felt like we had a good like we both had codependent experiences. So I think by the time we like our friendship got stronger, we both knew what we were trying to avoid. So even though we do rely on each other pretty heavily as emotional supports, it's never gotten to a situation where we're like we feel ownership over this friendship. You know, it's just it's a very collaborative, growing, changing thing. So yeah, but it is about balance. It's about reciprocity, and it's about all those things.
Yeah, you just have to trust that the other person has your like good intentions with you.
Yeah.
Like always will have good intentions with you.
And not just that, it's like that they don't see the worst in you. I've
Yeah.
had some friendships, like part of what was so heartbreaking about those friendships that I had to end was like they just like when I made mistakes, it was not treated as a mistake. It was treated like a character flaw. You know, and suddenly I would have to be on the defensive, like, no, that's not what I meant at all. Like I wasn't trying to put you down. It was a joke, honestly.
Right.
Like,
Yo, that's so real.
like I would get into such bullshit arguments with people, and I was like, why are we fighting? Like all I said was like just, and it wasn't even like I don't know, it was just something about what I said was perceived to them as a threat. And like, you know, in retrospect, I understand like a lot of these people have been traumatized by various interactions that they've had with other people, so it was probably a lot less about me than it was about them.
But it's affecting you.
But it still affected me, and I was still like, you know, I don't know, like I think sometimes you reach a level with a person where you feel like you don't have to filter everything through politeness. And like when I got to that stage with some people, they just totally like took this as an opportunity to tear me to pieces, and I was like, whoa. Yeah, I was like, whoa, what is this? Why are you like, I thought we were friends. I thought we were supposed to be nice to each other. Just because you're hurting doesn't mean like you get to lash out and say things like that to me, you know? So like I don't know. I think giving people grace and giving yourself grace is really important.
It's literally like a juggling act sometimes, though. Like I feel like I keep thinking about roses, like roses have thorns. It's like the age-old anecdote, but it's like you have to be like it's still a lovely thing. You just have to like be very careful when you hold it. You can't just grab a handful without thinking. Like every individual rose needs to be like held very specifically and slowly. And like that's how I want to approach all my relationships anyways. Like I don't want to just like extract the value of it in one night. Like I want to be very like careful because like I want to avoid the thorns and I want to be able to appreciate the beauty at the same time, or back and forth.
But I think you should also be aware that like people who there are some people who are very aware of their thorns but do nothing to trim them. And so instead they'll just be like, oh, I have thorns here, don't touch my thorns. And now it's on you to constantly be tiptoeing around their shit. Which, like, I don't want to minimize the fact that, like, people have miserable experiences, people have trauma, I've had my trauma. But I've done my best to work on that so that I don't bring my trauma with me to every new friendship.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like...
You grow.
I don't throw it down on the floor. It's like, hi, Nithya, I just met you today. These are the things you cannot touch about me.
Yeah.
And I'm, like...
That's bizarre, honestly.
Yeah. So, like, you know, it's about extending that grace to other people and recognizing that the things that happened to you in the past, even if they are terrible, aren't necessarily going to repeat themselves in the future and with new people. Just because, even if they do remind you of other people, that it, like, each new person is their own distinct being.
I hope people just like, it's hard though. Yeah,
It's
a
hard.
balance. Moral of the story is balance.
It's always fucking balance.
And also, just, like, you're allowed to make mistakes, and life is long.
Mm.
You know, you can heal. The thing about life is that it keeps going, and there's
You also say life is long.
Yeah, life is so fucking long.
yeah, like
How long is this fucking day?
So long.
Like,
we have an almost infinite ability to heal ourselves and heal each other, emotionally speaking. I'm not gonna go physical because like there are limits there. But like, you know, we are able to heal ourselves and each other. That is, I think,
Totally.
what is like some people who are traumatized tend to forget. It's like everything's about defending myself because they believe that they're a fragile person. But and like you can have fragile spots, but you can also grow. You can change. So
Agreed. Shall we have our closing thoughts?
I have spoken so much. I'm just gonna drink water.
Okay, well, we can do our closing thoughts, but like just 10 words each.
I don't know words like that.
I don't know numbers like that.
Yeah, literally.
All right, I'll do 10 words. You can do
Okay,
whatever.
fine.
I just wanted to be brief and like.
Yeah.
Okay, thoughts on this conversation?
Slay.
Flow. Killed it.
Wow.
Reciprocal.
Comfortable.
Recycling. Okay, we can do it together. Yeah. Comfortable.
Thoughts. Freedom.
Money.
Hungry.
Sitting.
Sitting.
On the ground. Yeah, grounded.
Pee. I got pee.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slide. Whoa.
Trio.